To America first.
This is America first.
Is this America first policy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can someone help me out with that?
We've hardly survived over the last 47 years with this regime that exists over there. Haven't you seen how this is actually why home prices have gone up so much since 79?
This is why eggs got expensive.
The regime. Yeah, the Iranian regime.
The Ayatollah.
So this is, we take them out, the price of homes is going to go down in Arizona.
This is the Ayatollah price hike.
Well, what is up, all of our liberty-loving friends? This is another fantastic episode of Good Morning Liberty. My name is Nate Thurston. Across from me is Mr. Charles Chuck Thompson coming at you from Nashville, Tennessee. Good morning, Charlie. How are you?
Good morning.
All right, that's enough of the small talk because I want to get to talking about this here war that we might be getting involved in. Now, to clarify, because people get upset when you say this, is it a war? I mean, is it a war if we just bomb a country? Apparently, if they don't fight back, if we don't have volleys back and forth.
Well, it's not a war declared by Congress.
Well, we know that.
Yeah,
we know that we don't get those.
It's not like a constitutionally defined war.
That is a relic of the past, Charlie. We just got to let go of that. And that's such an interesting thing that we could get that part out of the way.
I mean, it's been almost 100 years.
I have spent hours this morning digging through all of the war propaganda that we're just getting force-fed right now, and haven't seen a single person yet, other than the 10th Amendment Center, haven't seen a single person yet talking about whether or not Trump even has the authority to bomb Iran. It's all about, are we going to do it? When are we going to do it? Typically, those things tend to happen over the weekend, and so I guess we'll see. It's all about that, and everyone has pretty much thrown away the idea that we need to question whether or not the president has the authority to just go and do this thing.
Or whether or not Congress needs to weigh in.
Yeah, like yes or no. Doesn't need to let them know.
The people's representatives.
Even under the War Powers Resolution, he's got a couple days or whatever, but this doesn't fit under the War Powers Resolution if we were to do it. Doesn't fit under the 2001 authorization of use of military force. Because they're not directly connected to those who carried out and planned or harbored 9/11 terrorists.
Oh, they can find a connection.
And they've actually dug through some of it that's been asked several times. It's probably one of the reasons that we haven't bombed Iran a bunch of times, because they could not find a direct connection, which I'm surprised. The Constitution, there's Article 1, Section 8 that says Congress has the power to declare war, but then in Article 2, it says that the president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. And so everyone has decided that Article 2 somehow is more important than Article 1.
It was written after Article.
It was written later. They didn't have, it's not like they could just delete stuff. They're like, well, we already used that.
They didn't have
over there.
They didn't have whiteout.
Have to get a new quill, and so we're not going to mess with that. No, it's.
Could you imagine? I guess it'd have to be yellow out because the parchment's a bit more yellow than white.
Yeah, so there's no authority under the Constitution to just unilaterally decide to do this, because Article 2 is just saying who the commander of the military is. This is the command structure of the military, and it's the president that's at the top.
It doesn't say president is commander-in-chief of the armed forces and can deploy them whenever he wants.
No, and specifically the founders, which actually 10th Amendment Center was talking about this morning. The founders specifically laid out that is not what it says. Like the guys who wrote the thing, where we're all like, no, this is what it says right here. That's what it means. No, the guys who wrote the thing says that that's not what Article 2 says.
In fact, they tell you what it means.
Yeah. They spent a lot of time writing about what those things meant, and then we somehow we go back and we're like, no, this is what you meant.
What I find so interesting about it is, if you know anything about history and how historians look at history and how they actually figure out what is true or likely to be true, they have to corroborate multiple sources for it to be considered a truthful claim. And that's for anything, okay? But for some reason with the Constitution, we don't do that. We don't go look at the commentary that the authors of the fucking thing wrote down for you to read to know exactly what they meant.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
It's weird. And it's so weird that we don't do that.
Some people do that.
Yeah, some people.
And those people hate America.
You can go read, which I've done many times, and we've had a few Supreme Court justices, well, I say a few, there's quite a bit actually that have referenced the Federalist and Anti-Federalist papers. And there's more than that. There's more than just the Federalist and Anti-Federalist. But if you just go look at their commentary, which are those papers, when they were debating and drafting the Constitution, it's pretty clear what they meant. It's pretty clear what they meant about the Second Amendment. It's pretty clear what they meant about war powers. It's pretty clear what they meant about freedom of speech and of religion and of press. It's all there.
Yeah, you can just read their words about it.
It's there, and it's written. I mean, no, it's a little old-time English.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're going to have to read it a little slowly, but put it in AI. Tell it to translate it to new.
We have so many technologies now.
To new NIV, like the Bible. I'm going to translate it to a new international version if that helps you.
We've got this, what is now an old Truth Social post from Trump, I guess from like yesterday or something, where he says, Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions, save the names of the killers and abusers. They will pay a big price. I have canceled all meetings with Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. Help is on the way, MIGA. Oh, help is on the way, MIGA. President Donald J. Trump.
Does Iran get truth posts?
I'm sure someone carries it over there.
I mean, I saw something on X saying that they were confiscating people's Starlink and everything.
Saw that they're going around with scanners, trying to find the frequencies and locating those things. So hey, just so everyone knows, I'm not a supporter of the Iranian regime. And if there are protesters that are trying to rise up against their government, well, who am I to say that they shouldn't be doing that? In fact, they probably should be doing that. And if that government is killing those people, I disagree with that government killing those people. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've got some questions about the numbers, which we'll bring up here in a little bit. And I've got some questions about whether or not all of these have been mostly peaceful protests, which doesn't matter. Like if you're going to overthrow the government, let's say the Boogaloo kicked off around here. It's not like it'd just be this purely peaceful protest that was happening.
Well, if you read the middle of this, it says storm the Capitol. Same. This is basically
peacefully
the same.
and patriotically march down.
This looks to be basically the same tweet that he sent out on J6.
It's essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reasons to think that we're about to at least do some targeted strikes against Iran. Maybe not. Maybe this is a lot of Trump talking. A lot of people get caught sometimes assuming that Trump is actually going to do something. And then they're like, see, panic hands and just trust the 4D Trump. But there's a lot of things, some chess pieces moving around that would signal that this is about to happen. One of them
sounds like he's sacrificing the rook here.
One of them being, I don't understand chess enough to know if that's
the people who
a thing.
The people who know chess will get that.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant. As long as it works out.
Okay. Trump cancels meetings with Iranian officials and tells protesters help is on the way. So we just got that in that last post. That's one piece. So you're cutting off talks with the officials, which is when all the great stuff happens, is when you stop talking, for sure. Also, the U.S. Embassy posting a warning to Americans that are in Iran, saying that if you can, you need to get out of Iran ASAP. By land, you need to try and get out of Iran, like now, just as soon as you can. So there's another piece right there. And then there's another piece. The U.S. is moving troops away from the base that is in Qatar, which is the base that typically Iran fires a few missiles at after giving us a warning they're going to do it. And so they're moving some troops apparently away from that base right now. So there's a few things happening. And then when you look at the media, it actually took our media a little while to start taking the Iranian protest thing seriously. Like you were seeing some stuff float around on X about these massive protests, and then you turn on the news, even Fox News or whatever, and they're talking about, ICE officer shooting someone and all that, not really talking about Iran. And I found it weird at first because they're typically, the first to jump on beating these war drums for everyone. But they have caught up and they have all now aligned. And the thing that you're supposed to care about, see, every war effort, every time they need to sell you something, they have to give you some kind of an emotional hook. Because as soon as you get emotional about something, the rest of your logical, rational faculties start to decrease the more emotionally you get about something. And so when you're told about all of these protesters that are peacefully protesting the terrible, tyrannical Iranian regime, are getting mowed down in the streets by the thousands, and then you see a video of someone who's about to get hung for whatever the crime is that they call it there, and waging war against God or something is a crime that they somehow have defined. You see this video of the person, pleading and apologizing and all that, and you're going to get really emotional about it. And you should. These are human beings. And if you're going to feel bad about the Iranian people, that you should feel the same way that you feel about other humans around the world that are going through this kind of thing. And so they like to use this. Just like, we had to start the Venezuela thing with fentanyl. It absolutely had to start with this cartel that turns out doesn't exist, and fentanyl that doesn't exist getting brought into the U.S. and somewhere between 100,000 and 150 million people dying every year in America from fentanyl. And so you got to feel very emotional about it because everyone has that person they know that died from drug addiction or is addicted or knows of someone who was out of the party and took something and ended up dying. And so they got to get you with that first. And then it slowly slides into what all the other rationales are. So right now we are heavily in the use the emotional argument to bring your guard down. And especially when you make this argument, it makes it difficult for people to argue against it. Because here's this video and there are people getting killed and they're protesting a tyrannical government. I mean, hell, this is America. Of course we're in favor of people protesting their tyrannical government and even overthrowing their tyrannical government, because that's how we exist in the first place, right? And we're totally in support of people being able to do that. And so they show you this, they get your guard down, and also makes it difficult for people to argue against it without being called someone who sympathizes with the regime, the Iranian regime, or doesn't care about these protesters getting murdered. And they try to kind of emotionally blackmail you out of being against the U.S. government getting involved, which I've just seen no one really tell me why. If it's protesters getting killed in Iran, no one has directly made the connection for me as to why that is clearly our job to get involved and take out this regime to protect the Iranian people.
I think that's the most important part there. What is it about America's national security interests that we have to protect Iranian protesters? Now, not that we don't necessarily agree with them, could cheer them on, keep fighting for your country, take down the regime, whatever. But is this I just imagine, when a 17, 18-year-old boy walks into the recruiter's office and the recruiter's like, let me be honest with you, son. You signed this piece of paper. Part of our duty is to protect Iran civilians. Are you okay with that? That's not what anybody imagines.
To be fair, at this point, if you go and sign that paper, that it's kind of is a given, though, that you're probably going to get sent to do something that has nothing to do with protecting American citizens at all, and you're just trying to get free college or something.
Yeah, and someone in the live group said it. We can just condense this argument down to what will get us canceled, which is Iran's on Israel's list, and we've been looking for a way, and it's You can make the argument that Miriam Adelson is is in Donald Trump's ear to knock this one off of Netanyahu's list.
Yeah.
And that's her job to tell him and his job to figure out how to get it done. All right.
That could, in
Now
fact,
we're
be the case.
anti-Semitic.
Yeah, now we're but not quite. But the people who are anti-Semitic don't like us enough because we didn't just heavily lean into it being Israel for a long time. So now
you want to make the whole show about.
So now we pissed off one group of people without pleasing fully another, and that's an issue. So
I don't care.
No, I'm just saying you can't make everybody happy or anybody happy sometimes, you know. But yes, I definitely think that plays a part in what's happening right now. I don't think it's the only thing, but I definitely think it plays a part.
What's so weird about this whole thing is that the regime that's in power in Iran was America's doing to begin with.
Yeah, well, not this specific regime. I mean, so the regime that we put in power got overthrown in '79, but they overthrew. 53 was our overthrowing. And then 79 was another overthrowing.
But wasn't us?
I don't know if we did 79.
You're telling me the CIA wasn't there?
Well, I mean, it was our dictator that got overthrown. So I'm not sure. Unless I got my timeline wrong. If anything can tell you why we shouldn't get involved in these regimes, it's that this does in fact all stem from us trying to overthrow all of these people in this country, and keep that in mind when people talk about, say, Venezuela or other countries where we try these things out and immediately nothing bad happens afterwards, that these things can take a really long time to continue devolving, and it might even look okay for 10, 15 years, something like that, and then it looks terrible, and then it just gets even worse. And what a lot of people will do is, well, if nothing happens immediately afterwards, or if nothing happens in the year afterwards, or a few years afterwards, like, well, see, mission accomplished. We did it. It turns out we did a great thing, and everybody's happy. And right now we're dealing with the results of crap the CIA was doing back in the 50s. Still, like right now, that's how long this has been going on. And so don't tell me like 2 weeks after we snatched up Maduro, everything's fine, and so therefore it's a great idea. This stuff takes a long time to play out, and this one just kind of keeps playing out and keeps sucking money from us all the time. God, how much money have we spent?
Not enough.
Doing that. No, well, that's the answer. Unfortunately, it hasn't been enough money that was spent.
The U.S. military needs $1.5 trillion, Nate.
Well, then we'll finally...
Look, I stand corrected.
Solved.
There is no record of the CIA backing or helping lead to the rise of the Ayatollah. So apparently the United States and the CIA were caught off guard.
Yeah, that rise was against the person that the CIA had put in. Was against the Shah. The Shah was 53. And he gets overthrown because people didn't like him a whole lot. Now, we put him in because the previous guy was talking about nationalizing the oil. And you know how America feels about countries nationalizing oil. It's bad. I don't like it. I don't like it when countries nationalize oil. And so us and Britain, we didn't like that very much. And so we decided to put someone in that would be more favorable to America's national security / oil interest. And that lasted for a little bit. And then we've been dealing with this now for 40, how many years is that? 50 years almost. It's been a long time now. By the way, let me pull up, now that we mentioned the Shah just a little bit here, the successor, the hopeful successor here to come back and take power in Iran. He's talking about how this is what's happening to the protesters in Iran is worse than 9/11 for the people of Iran right now. That's when you put things in Team America did a great job making fun of this. Like, how many times 9/11 bad is it? And that's like the way that you determine how bad a thing is.
Yeah.
Israel did it for October 7th. I literally did forget the date there for a minute. See, that's just how anti-Semitic I am. Israel did it. How many 9/11s is this for the people of Israel? And now this guy's doing it for how many 9/11s is this for the people of Iran? And that's like speaking a language to the people in America. You frame it like that, and that you're just trying to tell Americans like how bad this is right now.
Joining me now is exiled Iranian Crown Prince, His Royal Highness Reza Pahlavi. Your Royal Highness, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You are in contact with people on the ground inside Iran?
As much as possible in the last 72 hours. As you know, it's been very difficult to access people, but every now and then information gets to us. I was able the night before last to have a FaceTime moment with a few of the people who came right off the street to tell us how the situation was on the ground. I mean, awe and admiration in the courage that they have displayed. But the sad news is that we had more casualties in the last 2 days, 4 times the number of people who were dead as a result of the 9/11 terrorist attack.
We're trying to get our head
plus.
around that. What is the number? That
About 12,000 plus.
12,000 plus.
That's what we get so far. It might be more.
12,000 plus.
3 times or 4 times 9/11.
Or 4 9/11s. It's like we've got inches and miles, and we've also got, we measure things in 9/11s.
Yes.
How many, wait, don't give me that number. How many 9/11s is it? Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
It's another American measurement system.
Pretty soon we'll ask how many Jan 6 it is. Oh, so that's like 12,000 Jan 6s. Now I get it.
It is 12,000 Jan 6.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Now, do you understand now?
Yeah,
since
now I
said
understand
that? Yeah.
how bad this is.
Yeah, that's a lot of Jan 6s. God. Yeah. Since when? I found it so weird that he was just like kept saying Your Royal Highness.
Well, you gotta
Your Royal Highness.
even though he's
Thanks
like
for-
exiled and lives in America.
Yeah.
the-
He's
So
still
that's
an
another thing.
Iranian prince.
I'm sure there's some kind of formality.
Prince Alibaba.
That's his last name. Yeah,
Prince Ali.
That's I'm sure there's some kind of formality for how to address those kind of people, but that to me is also a little bit of theater, because like here's this exiled crown prince of Iran, is the guy that we want to airdrop back into Iran, just drop him right into the chair to run the place, you know, and so we are going to address him as Your Royal Highness because we respect him as the rightful leader of Iran because we put his dad in there, you know, or
Yeah.
pretty sure that's who it was, but whatever. Mark Levin,
Oh. Yeah.
he says, I just received this, just spoke with a friend who managed to reach Iraqi Kurdistan. This is what he told me. The number of people killed is far higher than 4 9/11s.
We're laughing about death.
All right, back to
I saw
being
a
serious.
YouTube comment, I think it was this morning, that said, you guys are not serious about anything. All you do is laugh.
Yeah.
Why should we take you seriously? And I'm like, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Karen.
Yeah, don't take any of these people seriously.
If you don't like it, don't watch it.
The number of people killed is far higher than 12,000. The massacre is beyond horrific. The regime is close to succeeding in crushing the uprising through unchecked violence. So Mark Levin is warning that we are running out of time to use the protests as an excuse to bomb Iran. That's his actual warning. But we're running out of time because the regime is about to put down
He actually
the
just
protests.
puts that on paper at the end of it.
Yeah, the brutal cold is another decisive factor. Many people simply cannot stay in the streets longer. If help does not arrive today, or at the very latest by tomorrow, the game is over. Now, what he actually means is it's getting very cold. These protesters have been doing this for a long time. A bunch of them are getting killed, and eventually they're going to stop protesting. So if you want to use the protests as a pretext for bombing Iran to protect these people that are out there protesting, you got to make sure that you bomb them before the protesters decide to go home. So we need to, we got to make
today
hay
or tomorrow.
We got to make hay while the protesters are dying. Is what he's saying right now.
Yeah.
That's great, Mark. Ted Cruz posting out free Iran. Also, how many people are there? I have no idea. Is another thing he said. And he posts out this photo of this girl lighting a cigarette off of a burning printed out photo of Khamenei or Khamenei. I don't know what you're supposed to say his name. Put different emphasis on it. Says smoke him if you got him. Now
that's the Ayatollah leader, basically, right?
Yeah. This started getting used as like a sign of resistance, and like here's what the first time I saw it going around was here's what women in Iran think of the Ayatollah. This is what they think of their brutal regime. Lighting a cigarette off of burning. Now it turns out this is some girl in Canada. Okay, so it's a little different. Not that women in Iran don't feel this way, but it's just another.
She looks like she could be Iranian, though.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, she could be Iranian.
That could be her nationality.
Sure. That's fine. That's fine. It's just funny. It starts getting used as a nice little propaganda piece, and then we get more stuff like from CBS News. Two sources, including one from within Iran, told CBS News that the number of people killed in the regime's massacre is at least 12,000, but it may be more than 20,000. So that's now we're somewhere between 12
I feel like we're
and 20.
We're like reliving COVID all over again.
I know. And I'm losing track of how many 9/11s that is too.
Yeah.
And so I don't like that. I like to be able to measure things in the 9/11s and do the math quickly.
About 7.
That's almost 7.
Almost 7 9/11s.
That's pretty bad. Now we're going to get back to those numbers here in a second of where they come from. And please remember that if the number is half that much or if it's a quarter that much, doesn't mean that it's not terrible.
I don't like death.
I don't like it. Not a fan of it. I don't want the regime to be killing these people that are out there protesting. And so we'll talk about that here in a sec. But this is another one that bothered me that I replied to this morning. Neil Stone, Dr. Neil Stone on X, says, if Iranians tell you they want Trump to intervene, maybe listen to them rather than lecture them on your narrow domestic culture wars. And the essential message behind this is y'all need to quit fighting about whether or not we need to do this and listen to what the Iranian people want Trump to do. And that just really burns my biscuits, man.
That rubbed you in a way that's
bad
it's
way.
Opposite of right.
It's not good. It's the other one. And I feel like there should be a hierarchy of people that the president listens to, and way above Iran and way above the people of Iran
or the people of any country
comes the American people that elected him. I think that's important. Still below Israel, but much higher than Iran, for sure. I just want to clarify, all right?
Yeah.
And so this idea to like, well, have you asked the Iranian people if they want Trump to use your money and your military to bomb their government? Like, screw you, dude. I don't care. I literally don't care.
So you don't care about death. That's what you're saying.
And that's a great example.
How many Iranian children have to die, Nate, before you would concede
there is no,
your own fortune?
There is no answer to that question because that is not a metric that is available for use as to whether or not the U.S. military should do a thing. It's just not.
If we're not going to do it, who is?
You know, that's an interesting question. I'm glad you said it like that. I remember during the Iraq times, I was super pro-war. You were as well.
Well, Saddam was bombing his own people.
He was killing his own people. And he had killed his own people.
With chemical weapons and weapons of mass destruction.
Something about
just like Assad was doing in Syria.
Like incubators or something. I don't know. There was bad stuff. Yeah, just like the chemical attack in Syria.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Saddam had killed a bunch of his own people. That is true. And I remember specifically making the argument. I can't remember who I was talking to. I've been trying to figure that out today. But in rationalizing my support and why I had a George W. Bush bumper sticker on my car at that time, rationalizing my support, I said that it was just the moral thing for us to do, that we were the greatest and most powerful and most wealthy nation in history of planet Earth, and that we had the moral obligation to save people when we could. And that is how I felt. And
who cares that it was George W. Bush? It's just the fact that you had a bumper sticker at all. Those things are
terrible.
tacky.
Yeah. Not good for your car.
Anytime I see a bumper sticker, I'm just like, ugh.
And add in the fact that it was just a big W. That's all it was. And it wasn't even on my bumper. It was in the center of my back window.
Really wanted people to see it.
Yeah. It was like, right. It was like,
W.
This car sponsored by W.
W.
That's what it was. And so I say all that to say, I totally get it, because I was there. Charlie was there too. Maybe people in our live group were there at one point in time as well. That you think that, well, we've got this big military and they've got all this money.
Why don't we use it?
We have all this power. But I'm talking about like the moral obligation, Charlie, as a Christian.
What's
when
interesting?
You see these people that are just getting mowed down by the 3, 4 9/11s in the street. When you see that kind of thing happen, do you not feel a moral obligation to go and help those people?
You know, what I find interesting about that time period is that according to science, your prefrontal cortex wasn't even developed yet.
No,
Not fully.
definitely wasn't. That's fact check true.
Yeah.
I confirm that.
So I find that to be pretty interesting.
But it's still like that's a natural thing for a lot of people to feel when it comes to this. And my response to that would be, well, first off, way more people died as a result of our actions trying to save, even if he had killed 100,000 people and we were going to stop that. Way more people died. Now, it doesn't mean that Iran's going to be another Iraq.
By the way, we had 2 more 9/11 American soldier deaths after 9/11.
I know.
So one 9/11 turned into 3 9/11s.
It's not a good trade.
Yeah.
Not a good trade. And I can't even calculate how many 9/11s worth of people died in the Middle East as a result of all of our actions. And so
it's at least a million.
We did not save. Oh, it's not a million 9/11s. You got
I'm saying a million
3,000. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I thought you were speaking in different, American terms.
Which would be,
We'll get the calculation for you guys sometime.
is that 330 9/11s?
I have no idea how many 9/11s it is. I'm sorry for bringing it up. Now, the thing about the numbers is that those numbers are pretty exclusively coming from this place called the National Endowment for Democracy.
330 9/11s.
That's a lot. Yeah, it's bad. These numbers are pretty exclusively coming from the NED, which is an NGO that shouldn't exist. And unfortunately for us, the NED is essentially the replacement for the CIA and their attempts to coup and overthrow these regimes in all of these different regions. We just slapped a name on it that's got the word democracy. And so that's good. And then it's a non-government organization, so they can do whatever they want, but then also we give them money to do the things that they want to do.
And by the way, the National Endowment for Democracy is probably one of the worst NGOs that we have record of.
Is that the same one that was going after speech and all that too? I can't remember. There's so many of them.
This is the one that what's his name was talking about on Joe Rogan, and
yeah, he definitely mentioned them. There was another one that started with a G that I can't remember right now. There's so many of those things out there. That's pretty much where these numbers are coming from, and it doesn't mean that they're not real. I'm not saying it's not 12,000 to 20,000 people, but it is important in these circumstances to consider where you're getting those numbers from and what their motivations might be for giving people these massive numbers. Once again, doesn't mean they're not true, but can you really trust the source of the numbers when they're coming from a lot of people whose ultimate goal and stated goal in many of these instances is that the regime in Iran needs to be overthrown, that we need to do a regime change over there, and now they are feeding us the very emotional propaganda pieces that the media is using to get people whipped up into trying to topple this regime. And so I just saying, it's worth questioning, or at least remembering when you hear these numbers that might not be true. Okay, keep that in mind.
Yeah, but all they care about is democracy, Nate. It's in the name.
It is in the democracy. What about the people? Like the people who want us to go take out this regime, to topple this regime. That's just about democracy too. And then of course you got to mention, well, a bunch of the other people in the region that we're friends with, well, they're not democracies. Iran seems especially terrible compared to a lot. I don't like them. I think overall be a good thing if the people decided that they needed to have a nice, fine Jeffersonian republic over there. That'd be great.
The French helped us with the American Revolution, Nate. I mean,
yeah.
Do you think we would have won against the British if it weren't for the French?
They seem pretty important at the end of that movie. So that's how Cornwallis got stuck. He couldn't retreat to the sea.
French were there.
Because the Frenchmen were out there, So according to my historical record on the matter, I think it was fairly important that they were helping us out.
If the Iranian people want to overthrow their tyrannical government, who should come to the French should come to their aid? Is what you're saying?
I think what you're saying is that the French should do it. And on that point for a minute, why is it always us that's got to do this? There's a whole hell of a lot of other countries that are close to Iran that have militaries.
Yeah.
Way closer to Iran than we are, who are going to be more directly affected by this as far as the actual security for their people in their countries. Way more directly affected by this. And it's never on them to do a thing. It's always on us to do a thing. That's why we pay taxes are the price we pay to protect the citizens of Iran. That's what we got.
Happened to America first?
This is America first.
Is this America first policy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can someone help me out with that?
We've hardly survived over the last 47 years with this regime that exists over there. Haven't you seen how this is actually why home prices have gone up so much since 79.
This is why eggs got expensive.
The regime. Yeah, the Iranian regime.
The Ayatollah.
So this is we take them out, the price of homes is going to go down in Arizona.
This is the Ayatollah price hike.
And by the way, that
working
reminds
in
me,
conjunction with Putin.
I actually had a couple funny things pulled up to play today because it's Wednesday, and that used to be a thing that we did. And I just want to play this because it's funny. This is Tim Dillon talking about getting Maduro. And I love what some people are doing right now, which is when something is ridiculous, to point out how ridiculous it is, kind of speak in favor of it in a way that makes it even more ridiculous and obvious to people how crazy it is. But this is just a good joke. I don't typically love a ton of his stuff, but I thought this is pretty good. I don't know if you heard this yet, Charlie.
We're finally doing good stuff. We got Maduro. We captured him, and we're stealing their oil. Listen, if gas doesn't come down, gas has got to come down. The hope with this is that eventually we're going to bring the cost of living down through kidnapping world leaders. I mean, that's truly that's now the plan. Nothing else has worked. You're just going to wake up and hear about different people we've kidnapped. They got the president of Panama. You go, what? He was skiing. They got him when he was skiing? Yeah, he got to the bottom of the hill. They just got him. It's going to get to the point where you'll be in the grocery store and go, why are these blueberries so cheap? And they go, we just killed the governor of Maine. we killed that guy. You're going to go, interesting. They go, yeah, they just sent special forces in. They broke his neck in front of his family. You go, that's why these things are 90 cents. They go, yeah, blueberries are basically free for the next 3 months. And the violence will get more and more sadistic. But you also are not going to care because the prices of things are going to come down. Like,
so I just really like framing this as a strategy for like this being the government's strategy for decreasing prices, for tackling the affordability crisis.
Yeah.
It's one by one going and killing the leaders of different countries, or at least arresting them. That's a great way of just making something seem ridiculous because it is. All right, back to where were we? That just reminded me of that. Alex Berenson, who's most known for hardly succeeding in holding back his tears during a debate with Dave Smith. We were all actually concerned for his safety there for a little bit. I did feel bad for him. I take on that feeling when I watch debates with other people. Even though his performance was embarrassing and laughable, I actually felt bad for him. He says, I don't care if you're libertarian, conservative, liberal. The only human response to what's happening in Iran is to support the protesters being killed. This is not worded very well, is to support the protesters being killed because they can't stand the tyranny they face and hope the regime falls with our help. Meaning support the protesters, don't support them being killed. It's just not worded very well. Just so you know. But
the only human thing to do is support
killing the
killing of
protesters.
the protesters.
Yeah. I didn't
Yeah, would
realize
you-
how bad the wording was on that until I read it out
Now,
loud.
would Alex Berenson say the same thing about the women and children in Gaza?
Oh, you just got to bring that up, you anti-Semite. Why? Everything just comes back to the Jews for you, doesn't it?
I mean, how many Gazans were killed so far? The innocent Gaza, it was 30,000.
9/11s. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a lot.
that's 100 9/11s.
That's quite a lot.
Wait, sorry, 10.
We got to get a conversion.
It's 10
I'm going to
9/11s.
build a spreadsheet that's got the 9/11 conversion on it, so we don't spend so much time on this. Yeah, that's been something that's been brought up a few times actually, and I think the people that are saying stuff like, "Oh, where are you, Dave Smith? Why aren't you talking about the poor Iranian protesters that are being killed? You know, you spend all this time talking about Gaza, the people of Gaza. You're not mentioning these people. Why is that? And it's just because you hate Israel, and that's the reason why." And I actually think that those people are the most hypocritical, because now that there's been anywhere between 1,000 to 12,000 to 20,000 protesters killed in Iran, they're like all up in arms about human rights and these innocent people getting killed in this country. And it's super weird. It is really, really weird that it's like these specific people where if everyone cares about this enough, we can get into a war to solve it.
And
You
it
know?
just so happens that Iran is on Israel's list.
That's also weird.
That's strange.
I hate it. Like, I know that you're just noticing things and pointing out coincidences right now.
Yeah. I'm just asking
that-
questions.
It's all that's happening. Okay.
Yeah.
We're not, but it is super weird.
I'm
and
sure
to me,
Ben
that is-
Shapiro is hiring a Charlie lookalike to
that's-
take Good Morning Liberty down now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This is Nikki Haley posted that at least 12,000 Iranians fighting for freedom have been murdered by the regime, possibly thousands more. The silence from those who claim to care about human rights is truly deafening. And I did like the response, and it's her signing a bomb that probably killed no less than 3 kids when it got dropped. And, who knows, however many other people. Now, hopefully no one ever brings up a photo of me signing the bomb, because I have done that before. I took the approach of when in Rome in that scenario, and I kind of regret it just a little bit. But the photo does exist. I'm not hiding it from anyone. Not my proudest moment. And also, I wasn't full on libertarian at that time, just so you guys know.
We don't forgive you.
You should forgive me. In good news, before we get out of here, we are moving to phase 2 of the 20-point plan to end the Gaza conflict today.
That sounds a little too complicated.
Today is the day we're moving into phase 2. So phase 1 was ceasefire. That one failed, and so now we're moving into phase 2.
We didn't complete that stage.
We gotta,
But
figure it. Maybe
phase
we're a
2
phase
wasn't
behind.
dependent.
Maybe it's a phase behind. That you move into phase 2, they'll actually start doing phase 1. Steve Witkoff
it says here they maintained the ceasefire.
Mm-hmm.
Returned all living hostages and the remains of 27 of the 28 deceased hostages. We are deeply grateful to Egypt, Turkey, and Qatar for their indispensable mediation efforts that made all progress to date possible. So because of that, they're moving into phase 2, which is going to establish a transitional technocratic. Is that like somebody from Silicon Valley?
Yeah.
A technocracy?
They're actually just going to upload Palantir, like AI, over the country, and it's going to tell you who the bomb.
Inside of Palestine. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. They're going to basically install a transitional technocratic Palestine administration in Gaza, the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza, and begins the full demilitarization and reconstruction of Gaza, primarily with Trump properties, primarily the disarmament of all unauthorized personnel. The U.S. expects Hamas to comply fully with its obligations, including the immediate return of the final deceased hostage. Failure to do so will bring serious consequences. We're just going to level the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best thing to do. Now, when I saw this, because
What if it's like, if you don't do this, we're going to bomb Iran?
No, this is interesting. It's interesting that they chose to announce this today. Now, maybe it's because I spent so long reading war propaganda this morning, but it struck me as odd that this announcement was today, because there are countries that are not happy about the possibility of us striking Iran pretty soon. And they're countries that we're friendly with, Saudi Arabia being one of them. There are reports, and I believe those are confirmed, they said that we couldn't use their airspace to go do this. And they... What?
It's like you can go get the bad guys, but you can't do it through my house.
Can't do it through us. Because when they ask us about it, we want to have deniability on this.
Like, well, he went through your backyard. Don't care.
Nope. Doesn't matter. I told him he couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are some countries that are not real happy about the potential of us striking Iran. Maybe because it will destabilize the region. I don't think it's just going to be this.
It's already not
I don't think it's just going to be this amazingly smooth transition or anything. You got to imagine, it's a big country. It's a lot of people there. That there are.
How many people are there?
There are I don't know, like 20. No, it's like 90 million people there. There's a lot of people.
Oh,
it's okay. It's a big country.
Thanks, Ted.
Yeah, a lot of people there. There are extreme. Imagine the extreme views and factions that we have in America. Imagine an outside force came and toppled the American government. They're just gone. And then they left. They're gone after that. But we've got some strong factions, some people that want to have, a constitutional government or whatever. And then there's a socialist and stuff like that. So imagine the government was toppled. They're out. What kind of war do you think would actually ensue in the U.S. afterwards? I think
nothing. We would finally institute the libertarian utopia.
Finally, that is what we would do. And maybe that's the plan. It's not we need to topple the regime. It's that we need to get someone else to do it, that they've got a military, but we need to be set up. It's important for us to have this infrastructure set up so we can pop into power as soon as that happens. You just want to be the people that the regime topplers choose to come into power afterwards. Sorry, I'm back on track here. It would be a mess just for the U.S. Now imagine a country that's got way stronger factions and way bigger extremes. And many of those factions are just outright like, if you do that right there, I can kill you.
Like the Democratic Socialists of America.
Yeah, something like that.
Like if you're rich.
And they've lived many people who support the regime that's in place right now. Some people who don't, but they'd be still pretty extreme compared to the way that we think government should be. It's going to be a mess, is the point. This whole thing's going to be a mess. And so there are people in the region that are not super pumped about this. So I found this announcement to be very interesting today, because then I looked at the list of countries that would be happy about this announcement. Like, who would this appease? Who would be happy that we're moving into phase 2? Well, it's Saudi Arabia. Yeah, well, Israel, kind of course. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Turkey, Bahrain. They would be in favor of moving on with this Gaza thing and ending this conflict and getting this all sorted out. I sort of felt that this was a bone, like a consolation prize, maybe just something positive to give those countries to make up for how mad they're going to be soon when we're bombing Iran. I don't know. Could be the case. All right, let's go.
I thought one of the reasons I voted for Trump was for peace. Mm-hmm. I believed him that he was going to end the Ukraine-Russia war, which, by the way, is still going on.
I think he has tried to do that. I don't think he is.
We may have forgotten. But, well, sure, he's tried to do that. But since Trump has been in power, we've bombed Iran. We continue to bomb Libya and the Houthis and all that stuff that's happening there.
Well,
we're fully backing Israel, just leveling Gaza. We kidnapped Maduro.
Don't forget
Cuba's next.
I think you might have missed.
We're going to overthrow Greenland.
Might have missed Yemen.
Yemen.
Everyone always forgets Somalia. Poor old Somalia. who we've bombed more than we bombed anyone else this year.
They got the reparations. So what are you upset about?
They're like, I earned this fraud money.
Yeah. You killed my whole family.
That's exactly what they sound like, too. That was spot on.
I know. It's a more northern accent.
Yeah, it's the northern dialect. Yeah. So we
killed my whole family, you get the boota.
There's like a northern Somalian who moved into an Italian neighborhood in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Is what I'm picking up right there.
Don't you know?
So, all right, let's go. Yes, Trump is the peace president after we take care of all the people who
Trump was like,
are holding us back from having
You didn't
peace.
give me the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
I'll show you peace, bitch.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, this is all happening after he didn't get the Peace
This was
Prize.
his threat. He's like, you want to see me not peaceful? Not peaceful. I ended all those wars. I'm trying to end this one. You want to see not peaceful? Go snatch up that guy down there. That's what he's doing. That's pretty good.
This maybe teach you a lesson. Don't snub the United States president on peace because they'll show you not peace.
At this point, it'd be worth it. Maybe get the Nobel Prize committee to ask him, if we give you this, will you stop bombing people? And if he says yes, I think it's worth it for everyone to come together and decide to give it to him. Yeah.
All right, y'all. If you enjoyed that, share it around. Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Go to GodHatesFeds.com to be part of the Fed Haters Club. Pick up some merchandise or join gmail.com where you can also join in on the conversation there. Visit the links in the show notes to support the sponsors that support this show. If you do all of that, we'll be back again on Friday. Until then, I hope you have a good day and a good morning, Liberty.